Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Jessica
and I'm Jennifer,
and today we're talking all about length retention, so stay tuned. So one thing you need to realize about length is your hair is constantly growing. Despite what you may think, your hair actually grows about half an inch to quarter an inch every single month. So by the end of the year, you actually would have had about maybe 6 inches of growth. What stops you from actually seeing that is length retention. So one thing people always say when they first hear length retention is, oh, it's genetics. One thing people don't realize, genetics actually affects how fast your hair grows, but it doesn't affect you retaining length. You actually retaining length is through the practices that you put into your hair and you actually being disciplined with your hair routine. One thing I always say about your hair routine is almost like your skincare routine. You have the face wash, you have the toner, you have the face moisturizer, you also have SPF,
the under eye cream.
And these are different steps that allow you to have flawless skin. And you guys, we don't skip those steps. So when it comes to your hair, I don't know why we, especially I feel like a lot of black women, we want to skip the steps. We don't want to do everything. You don't want to deep condition, you don't want to air dry your hair, you don't want to actually like moisturize and seal almost every day. So it's very important to actually have discipline and actually follow steps if you want to retain length. So the very first step for retaining length is frequent deep conditionings, and this is a must. I mean, this really helped us retain length. There are two types of deep conditioning. There's the moisture deep conditioning and there is the protein deep conditioning. I always suggest moisture once a week, protein at least once every 2 weeks. You need to deep condition your hair because the moisture deep condition puts back moisture into your hair, whilst the protein deep conditioner strengthens your hair, which enables it to grow. Regular deep conditioning actually strengthens your hair. It prevents breakage and split ends, especially if you have relaxed hair or you've put in any type of treatment or color onto your hair, or you've actually used heat a bit too much. It's really important for you to deep conditioner to restore back in the nutrients into your hair. That moisture really helps to prevent split ends or any kind of damage on your hair. So another thing that you actually need to take into consideration is your protein and moisture balance. So this actually happened to us because at some point in our hair journey we were using just too much protein, and we actually found our hair was becoming hard and our hair wasn't actually healthy from using too much protein, and we found out that we needed a moisture balance. Moisture is key because it restores moisture back into your hair, but too much moisture as well can make your hair weak and dull. So too much of a good thing is not good. So you need to find the right balance for you. Like I said, we actually do a moisture deep conditioning once a week and we do a protein deep conditioning once every 2 weeks. So another practice that helps us retain length is moisturizing and sealing. And guys, you know we always talk about this. We also have a story behind this, how we were excessively shedding because we weren't moisturizing and sealing our hair. So this is a daily practice for us. Like we always say, we always make sure we moisturize even before our hair gets dry because it leads to breakage. So moisturize and sealing is basically the act of moisturizing your hair. We are relaxed, so we actually use a water-based moisturizer, and if you're actually natural, we'll suggest a cream-based moisturizer. Then we go in with an oil of our choice to seal it, and this just really protects your hair. It protects your ends, it prevents split ends, it prevents breakage. And if you actually want to watch our moisturize and seal routine, we'll have it in the description link down below. So the next practice that leads to retaining length is maintaining a clean scalp. You can do this by always cleansing your scalp, because usually we use a lot of oils and butters and products, and this actually clogs up the pores on our scalp. When the pores are clogged up, it's very hard for new growth to come through. So it's very important for you to cleanse your scalp. Probably use like a clarifying shampoo and really get in there and massage and cleanse all the build-up of product from your scalp. A clean scalp is key. Another thing that it helps with is the overproduction of sebum, which down the line tends to hinder new growth coming through. So just using a clarifying shampoo just really helps to clean your scalp and allows new growth to come through. So one major tip that helps us retain length is protective styling. And guys, this is key. I don't know if you ever watched our video on the routine that we did during quarantine that grew our hair out, and yes, it was protective styling. I think you should actually need to test your hair once at least with a protective style for 2 to 3 months. So basically our hair would always get to shoulder length and break off, and we kept experiencing setbacks, we kept experiencing just breakage, and we just decided that, you know what, we're just going to put our hair in a protective style and use our hair growth oil almost every single day, and we saw major growth with this.
So much change.
And we just realized when you leave your hair alone, it grows. And we always just do a protective style that is not pulling at our ends, it's not too tight, it allows your hair to be comfortable and to still grow, which is braids that are not too tight. We don't do tight over tight ponytails, we just put our hair in braids, sometimes too comfortable braids, or we just do long braids that we can actually just put away at night. But we do this and we're still able to use our hair growth oil, and we still see crazy results whenever we put our hair in a protective style. A lot of people have also been asking, how do we keep our hair moisturized whilst it's in a protective hairstyle? And we're going to do a video all on that, demonstrating how we keep it moisturized whilst it's still in a protective hairstyle. That will be coming up very soon.
Yeah.
So the next thing that we do to retain length is infusing hair growth practices.
Yes.
I find that with everybody on our hair growth journey, I think everybody has gone through this. Your hair starts to grow to a certain level and then you hit a plateau. And our plateau was always shoulder length.
Yes.
You never grew past shoulder length. And this is because you need to try something new. For every stage you reach in your hair growth, it's going to be harder to get to the next stage.
And to retain length.
And to retain the length. So what we started to do was we started to infuse hair growth practices. I know everybody has heard of the craze of rice water. We tried our rice water, we saw a significant amount of change, but we can only do that once a month.
Because of the protein.
Because of the protein in it. But there's rice water, there's aloe vera, which is very moisturizing and helps with growth. We have our hair growth oil mix that really helped us with the hair growth. There's chebe powder, and chebe powder is so amazing for length retention.
Yes.
We're going to have a video all about chebe powder coming up soon on this channel.
Yeah.
So another practice that allows us to retain length is gentle detangling, and this is something that goes over people's heads, especially when you've just washed your hair, you're doing your hair routine. You should never actually comb your hair when it's wet and when it's dry.
Yeah.
It should be somewhat damp in the middle. So you can actually get your fingers through it, and try not to use combs. Get your fingers through it first, and when it has detangled to a certain point, then you can go in with the comb. And things that actually work, like using a detangler, we always recommend the Talia Wajid detangler. And there's also moisturizers. Hair moisturizers actually help to soften your hair, so you can run your hands through your hair. So always just make sure you're gentle when you're detangling. Also, it's really important to wash your hair and detangle your hair in sections. This allows you to not be snagging at your strands, because each section gets extra love when you do it in sections. And also, once you've washed your hair, always use a cotton t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because a towel is known to create friction against your hair strands. A cotton t-shirt is safer for your hair. So another practice that helps us retain length and even thickness is no heat. And we saw a lot of our new subscribers were wondering, are we natural or are we relaxed? And we are actually relaxed. I would say text-laxed, but we actually lay off heat. Like, we haven't actually used heat for, I would say, almost a year. So this really has allowed our hair to flourish, to be thick, and to retain length. Because one thing that you experience when you use a lot of heat is you have setbacks, you have heat damage, you actually have to cut off your ends from heat damage, you fry your ends with a hair straightener or a blow dryer. So we actually air dry our hair, and I'll leave a link down below of our air dry routine so you can actually watch how we do it. But we air dry our hair. We haven't really used straighteners or curlers in a long time. We've just found ways to manage our hair by using moisturizers and certain products that allow our hair to be more manageable. So the next hair practice that we infuse for length retention is frequent trims. And this is a major one, because your hair cannot grow if you don't trim off the dead ends. A lot of times we have some dead ends or split ends, and if you don't trim it, the split ends start to travel up the hair shafts, which even makes the damage worse, and then you end up having to cut even more length than you actually would.
Yeah.
So it's best that when you see it, to trim it off. We usually suggest trimming your hair every 3 months.
Yes.
We trim ours every 3 months, but I would say if you see any damage earlier than 3 months, you could trim it off whenever you see the damage.
Yes.
Or if you check 3 months and your hair isn't damaged, you could actually leave your hair to grow a bit longer.
Yeah.
Our ends make or break our hair, so it's actually very important to keep it hydrated and trimmed at all times.
So another practice that we do to retain length is protecting our hair whenever we're going to bed. And I don't know if you've watched our nighttime routine, which I'll link in the description box down below, but we always make sure to moisturize and seal, and we put our hair in a bonnet, and we use a satin pillowcase. Guys, this is super important. When you're going to bed, if you're using a cotton pillowcase or something harsh on your hair is rubbing and having friction on whatever it is, and it's also drying out moisture from your hair, so this could also lead to breakage. You always have to use a satin pillowcase or a satin bonnet, or both if you can, and protect your hair.
It's also a good idea to review the manner in which you bun your hair or you wrap your hair. Make sure it's not harmful, and make sure you're not bunning your hair on the same position, because you could end up stressing out and creating a demarcation line on the same area that you keep bunning your hair.
Yeah.
Try and switch it up. Try and wrap your hair differently from time to time so that it doesn't lead to breakage.
The last tip that helps you retain length that is really overlooked by people is a healthy diet. Guys, so many people skip this, but a healthy diet really plays a huge part in you retaining length. Drinking lots of water, your body being hydrated allows your scalp to be hydrated as well. This plays a huge part in seeing hair growth and in retaining length.
Yeah, also eating a lot of biotin rich foods like your proteins, your salmon, fish, your green leafy vegetables. These all play a part, and also exercise.
Yes.
People undermine exercise, but when you exercise, it creates a blood flow circulation around your body, which also helps with hair growth. All of this is key in retaining length.
So guys, we have come to the end of our video. These are our practices that have helped us retain length, and we hope they are helpful to you guys. Please give it a like if you enjoyed watching this video, and you guys can leave suggestions of whatever kind of videos you want from us.
Yeah, also let us know what you do to retain length. Maybe you could give us some ideas as well.
Yes.
So subscribe if you haven't. We're going to be uploading a lot of videos. We upload videos at least 2 times a week.
Yes.
So join the family if you want to see more hair videos from
and
us.
thank you so much to you guys, our new subscribers.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. And we'll see you guys in our next video.
Bye.